A second possibility is random. Okay? There's no seeming pattern to how those individuals are scattered across the landscape. They are found randomly. We can't perceive patterns. And lastly, there would be uniform distribution, where there are equal amounts of space between every individual of the species. Now, we know of examples of all of these of living organisms. So, for example, parasites are normally in characteristic A. Okay? Most individuals in a population don't have parasites, but the ones that do have a lot of them. Okay? And that relates to parasite dispersal. Uniform distribution. Okay? So what you're looking at there is a breeding colony of penguins, each of which has a specific territory, and there are behavioural interactions between one penguin and the next, with everybody the same width apart. Again, if you go out in the Mojave Desert and you look at one of the low-growing plants there, which is creosote bush, it will look in some cases like somebody planted a creosote bush because they're all the same distances apart from one another. The reason for that is that the creosote bushes are producing chemicals underground that are basically causing the creosote bush next door. It's underground chemical warfare between creosote bushes that is establishing a distance between them. Right? You'll also notice you can normally tell whether groves of trees are naturally occurring or have been planted by humans, because if they've been planted by humans, there's nice little rows and it looks like uniform over here. Whereas typically you will find more random clusters. So, how organisms are distributed is important to our understanding of their populations. So here's some clumps, okay? Bison, swans, fish, and in actual fact, lupine. Okay? So what's the advantage of being a clump population? Well, if you're all in the same place, you've got quick access to the opposite sex. Okay, so being clumped obviously has reproductive advantages. If you're a prey species, being in a large clump has additional advantages, particularly if you're in the middle of the clump. Okay, if you're in the middle of the clump, you're not going to get predated upon very easily. Now, if you're on the outside of the clump, bad news. Okay, so what you often get in aggregated clump populations is rotation of who's on the inside and who's on the outside. Okay? Typically, you're not going to find the juveniles on the outside of a clump. The juveniles will be interior and the mature animals will be on the outside. Okay? So, how does a population size change? You can think of a population of organisms as having inputs. You know some of those inputs because we've done animal and plant physiology, right? Inputs are going to be those resources that comes into it, and it's going to change according to input and output. What are the outputs going to be from a population? Reproductively capable additional individuals. That's your output. So we're back to thinking about bioenergetics again. Okay? Here's the nutrients and resources entering that population. Only if there's sufficient amounts to